One last thing before Shabbat. So I really need to get some rest. Two things that were mentioned in Scott 90 Gray's recent post was one about boycotting the election, which I do plan on making some shirts, at least for the locals, to show that we are boycotting and either voting third party, which is more likely, or just plain not voting, even as we physically show up to the polls, and maybe just sign the book saying we voted and shred the ballot that we're handed. Either way, I'm going to be making up some t-shirts for, at the very least, some local friends. If some people that don't live nearby and are interested, just let me know, and give me at least something for shipping, because it's one thing for me to use this stuff that I have in terms of the iron-on transfers and the t-shirts that I already have, but it's another thing for me to cough up money for shipping to wherever you live, and that's why I mentioned just local. But beyond that, the funding mechanism of using local candidates, small donations, and putting it into escrow until someone shows up who will contractually agree to not accept any favors, any large donations, any money, either during or for the time period equal to their number of years in office, afterwards, any special perks in terms of speaking arrangements or stock options or other corporate mega money kind of favors, then I think that combines the best of the libertarian and socialist / Green Party perspectives into one monetary system that does have the capabilities of beating the current two-headed beast that is called the Democratic and Republican national committees. So I would really encourage as many of you as possible to either make your own shirts, go to a local printer, get something, either shirts, pants, or skirt, blouse, whatever you want, or a wristband, something that definitively shows what we're doing. Post an image of that as of showing what you're doing at the polling location. And this way you can't be accused of a crime of saying, oh, well, you've shown your marked ballot on camera, therefore we have to invalidate your vote, which in some cases it is technically at least against the law, but it will still show what you're doing to the audience at large, that you are saying no, and delegitimizing whomever wins, whomever gets in, be it Clinton or the Drumpf, the felon, or the county jailbird, and that you really will not bend and say that you like either of them. Again, Trump for state prison, Hillary for federal prison. Put them both in those respective places, or maybe a little bit better yet, put Trump in federal prison and put Clinton in death row as an inmate there. Because again, she's a more serious criminal in terms of what she's told. But neither of them are fit to be elected, in my view, and in the view of 60% of Americans in terms of latest polling, and that's assuming that it's actually not more who are in fact not being polled, because I haven't been asked to join an illegitimate poll yet. And I know many other people who haven't, so who knows what's going on really. It could actually be 80% or 90% of the country that hate both of them. So, and I got my voter registration card in the mail because I applied, and I registered to vote on the day of my 18th birthday. Having been born in all things in terms of the book title, 1984. It was an off-year election, so as nervous as I remember being when I first went in there in terms of, I mean, I knew everything. I'd been guiding other people to do it, but I felt the nerves because I'm like, finally I'm an adult. Finally I'm doing something. When I pulled that lever, and yes, we're talking about the old lever machines, and so for my joints, even though I was 18, doing that physically was painful. But it was a joyous responsibility to finally realize that, yes, I can do this now. I'm allowed to. But again, it was a school board-wide election, so it wasn't much on the scale of things, and yet I was to some degree in awe of it, that finally I can do this. And now, of course, that's one of the reasons that seeing things for what they become hurt so bad. Because I do care.